In the first 3 months of 2023, personal savings in China surged by 9.9 trillion RMB. That data point reveals a collective panic. Driven by a deep-seated crisis awareness, millions of people hoarded cash, operating on the assumption that a heavy savings account guarantees financial peace of mind. But stockpiling money does not naturally yield financial freedom. Bodo Schaefer learned this through direct experience. By age 26, he was entirely bankrupt and drowning in personal debt. Within 4 years, he completely reversed his fortunes. By 30, Schaefer was a self-made millionaire, living entirely off the interest of his investments, using a highly specific financial system. He chose to share this Wall Street-level blueprint in an unconventional format. He wrote a children's fairy tale about an 11-year-old girl named Kira and a talking financial genius dog named Money. Why do adults crippled by debt need a fable to fix their finances? Because escaping poverty requires mastering 2 distinctly different forces: the visible mechanics of money and the invisible traits of character. Kira's journey begins with a common physical problem. She has 2 major life goals: purchasing a laptop and taking a summer trip to America. But she has absolutely zero capital. Her first lesson is to build dream jars. This forces her to physically visualize her intentions, turning abstract wishes into concrete, funded targets. Visual intention requires immediate momentum. This is the 72-hour rule. If you decide to pursue a goal, you must take the first physical step within 3 days. Once that window closes, the probability of ever executing that idea approaches 0. While Kira builds her jars, her parents represent the standard adult reality. They are paralyzed by consumer loans and housing debt, stressed by the endless cycle of repayment. To break this cycle, a wealthy mentor named Mr. Gold provides a strict mechanical instruction: physically destroy all credit cards to immediately stop the bleeding. He introduces the 50% rule for managing loans. After paying the bank's absolute minimum, the remaining available funds are split right down the middle. Half aggressively pays down the principal debt, and the other half is locked away for investing. The logic here is highly mathematical. If you send every spare dollar to your creditors, you end up with 0 assets. You must simultaneously build wealth while paying down debt, or you remain trapped. Allocating 50% to investments is mathematically impossible if your starting income is 0. The solution is identifying local friction points. The book tells the story of Daryl, a boy who noticed his neighbors hated walking out in the freezing cold to get their morning newspapers. He offered to deliver them directly to their doors for $1 a month, generating cash simply by solving a minor annoyance. Once you earn that initial capital, you have to put it to work. Another mentor teaches Kira to view saving money as a goose that lays golden eggs, which are the interest and dividends generated by the capital. This chart shows a hypothetical 10-year timeline for those golden eggs. By placing capital into safe, highly understandable multinational stock funds, investors aim for an average long-term return of 12%. This relies on compound interest, a mathematical reality where your money earns returns on the initial investment and then earns even more on the accumulated interest. To protect that growth, the investments cannot rely on a single domestic market. By purchasing large funds that hold equities across various global industries and regions, you disperse the risk, ensuring steady upward momentum even if one specific sector falters. These are the physical engines of wealth: executing actions within 72 hours, splitting debt payments, solving local problems for cash, and utilizing compound interest. Because she strictly followed these mechanics, Kira funds her dream. She buys the laptop, secures a scholarship, and travels to the California coast. But the sequel to the book introduces a new, non-financial conflict. At the U.S. consulate, Kira is trapped. She faces a cruel aunt and a hostile official who block the path to her scholarship. The official creates a roadblock, demanding that Kira write a complex essay decoding the meaning of a 2-sided coin. This prompt leads directly to Schaefer's core thesis, the donut theory of wealth. The solid outer dough represents the visible mechanics we just covered. It contains the 12% returns, the 50% debt splits, and the practical stock funds. But the donut has an invisible hole in the center. That empty space represents human character. Without it, the entire outer structure collapses in on itself. Math alone cannot sustain wealth. You must develop reliability. You must continuously learn. You need genuine gratitude and commit to helping others. These invisible traits anchor the money once you acquire it. This brings us back to the 9.9 trillion RMB sitting in savings accounts. Hoarding money out of panic will never provide actual freedom. You have to tame money by mastering its practical mechanics, but you only keep it by building the invisible character within.